Welcome, everyone. I am Nathan. He is Raymond. And we are the Super Brothers from another mother.
This is Raymond from 2024. Just letting you know that this episode was recorded in 2023. And with us, we have Joseph Holmes from the Overthinkers podcast. So go check them out if you like.
What are our thoughts on the TMNT movie?
So, yeah, I mean, I love the TMNT movie. It's probably my favorite version of the Ninja Turtles that I've ever seen, which I know puts me differently than Nathan, but also, to be fair, like, again, Ninja Turtles was never in my, top 5 of my favorite, kind of franchises. But I always enjoyed it. Again, I had a period of time, when I was a little kid, who I was obsessed with them. But they always, they're always this very weird franchise for me because, most, in superheroes and most things like that, you have one weird thing that, you have it's, and that's mixed with normal stuff. And so it's like superheroes, the best way I can put this is you have Superman, Batman, Iron Man, Spider-Man. It's there's one weird thing and then there's a man. It's one weird and one normal thing. With Ninja Turtles, it's 4 things. It's teenage, mutant, ninja, turtles. And it's all these weird things together. And that's part of what's great about it, is it's just this absurdly shameless weird thing. But what I've always felt about every iteration I've seen of the show before is they would have all these weird things, but they wouldn't know what to do with all the weird things or how to connect all the weird things to something relatable or thematic that we could hold on to. And so they would kind of emphasize the ninja aspect and then kind of leave the mutant or teenage aspects unexplored or whatever. They would pick their one thing and then leave everything else sort of unexplored or at least not connected to a larger theme. Mm-hmm. And this was the first one that I watched that felt like, to me, they took every single one of those aspects and made it fit within the themes that they wanted to share and explore. Yes. So really what it's about weird, ostracized teenagers who want to fit in, obviously, which is kind of okay, fair. That makes sense. That's fair. But it's they made them really teenager-like, almost more, again, the original Ninja Turtles, and this is not a slam on it, definitely felt like how old people think teenagers are like.
Yes.
So it's cowabunga, dude, let's eat pizza. Let's, and again, all that stuff we love. But it definitely felt okay, I've never met a teenager.
Well, in fairness,
not
the original. The original, from what I understand, is very different.
No, of course. You're right. The original comics, which is even more bat crazy than...
In the original comics, just for the people who don't know, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were basically given their mutagen through the same accident that blinded Daredevil. Mm-hmm. And that created the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which were actual ninjas that would kill people that were evil in the comic books. So they would actually fight ninjas and they would actually kill people and stuff like that. And then they made the cartoon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The cartoon changed it to more of a kid audience, and like you said, it was the cowabunga kind of teenager that adults see. Then they turned it into a movie. The movie was again a little bit violent, and they did have weapons, and they did kill people. Then the second one was then turned back into a goofy narrative that they didn't know. The third one, they time traveled for some reason, and then
which is a thing of the franchise, in fairness.
Yeah. No, the franchise, they go with and meet aliens and things like that.
I think the best, the one of the best series was the Nickelodeon 3D 2012 series. Okay, then they made another movie that was
the Michael Bay produced ones.
The Michael Bay ones that are.
Oh, and then they had the animated movie.
They had the animated movie,
the 2007 movie.
Yeah.
Wait,
this is a franchise. You got to respect this franchise. It just keeps being rebooted over and over, and people don't get tired of it.
Then the 2D animated series came out on Nickelodeon again.
Rise.
Changing. That was the first time where the Nickelodeon series, the first Nickelodeon one, where what was it? 2012, you said?
Yes.
Came out. That one introduced April as a young kid, as a teenager as well. Then the animated 2D version introduced the black teenage April. And now we have this
Ginger erasure.
Yes. And finally, we have this new movie, like you said, introduces a better like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We haven't had the teenage part.
Yeah. So
like
like these
this movie focuses a lot on the teenage part.
right. But you see, so it makes it like, okay, so the teenagers, like, okay, really like lean into that. But then they say like, okay, teenagers. But then it's like, it's mutants. Okay, so mutant part, the reason the mutant part fits is it
But they
fits
take
into that
away
theme of
they take away the ninja part here. in
Yes,
this movie.
100%.
not exactly. I mean, I get
No,
what you mean.
They don't. They're not real ninjas.
No, they're not
because
real ninjas.
In the original story, they are actual ninjas because they were trained.
They're self-trained ninjas. They're self-trained ninjas.
But you're
in
not a
this.
ninja. It's not a ninja.
They're self-trained ninjas
They're
from YouTube.
They're mall ninjas.
They're mall ninjas, yes.
There we
But but that's still a ninja part. So the ninja part becomes a part of the fact that when you are, I mean, I joke to people like, this is about homeschool kids. You know, weird homeschool kids who get to, you know, who are over-sheltered, who get to be in the real world.
Over-sheltered.
Wow, that's a missed opportunity if they didn't do that joke. But they get their ninja-ness, because again, it fits together in the themes, so the mutant-ness is about their ostracization. The ninja part is a part of how every over-sheltered kid has an idea of who they should be and want to be that comes from media that doesn't have a bearing on reality, but they still take it on as part of their identity.
Yeah.
So that's how the weirdness of ninja fits in with all the other parts. And of course, the turtles, again, fits with the mutant part. So all of this became, you know, and again, so all of the weird parts fit together in a cohesive whole and a cohesive narrative. Now, you're right. They de-emphasized the fact that they were real ninjas. And it's like they couldn't have Splinter in this one because that wouldn't have fit within that sort of like that emphasis on those themes that they're talking about. Then, but again, one of the things they did again is they
still could have been like, oh, he was the rat of a ninja master. That's
it could be, but it could have been. That could have been an interesting thing to go.
Because they did that in the no. Which one? One of them.
They've done that in the cartoon. They've done it in the live action movies. They've done it in the cartoon. And like in a cartoon, one cartoon it's like literally Hamato Yoshi. Other cartoons, it's no, he's the rat of Hamato Yoshi.
But again, I love the fact that they decided to take, you know, again, the fact that they live in the sewers and they're ostracized in that way, and they get give actually like
they took the origin from the Michael Bay movies.
Yeah,
that's the origin they took from, because in the Michael Bay movies, he's just a rat that learns as well.
Which again,
same in the 2003 cartoons, the same thing, and also in the original live action movies is the same thing.
I kind of like that because it does keep it like the same, where it's like, okay, it's not again, it's not hat on a hat. He's not a human, becomes a rat or something like that. It all fits the same way. But again, I also say I like the fact that they make, you know, make him like, you know, a complicated figure. Because again, typically, like, he's the wise sensei who is like never wrong about things. And it's like, no, he is the overprotective, over-sheltering parent in this, even though he is very good and wise in many other ways. So yeah, for me, again, it brought, and again, the animation style was a little bit weirder and kind of like, you know, not just ordinary 3D animation. It was like weird. It's like all of it just kind of came together for me in ways that others didn't. But then again, I also have to say that, like, you know, people who are diehard fans of Ninja Turtles, just like with me with Superman, like there are things that are like really important to them that, you know, the changes made might not sit as well, and that's fair. Like that's I'm not, you know, but that's my opinion on it.
Yeah. And so for me, I do love the movie. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to so much more of it. But to me personally, it's like my least favorite interpretation of the Turtles so far, partly because they de-emphasize the ninja-ness. And it's not because, I want more cool ninja action. It's just more like, usually based on prior interpretations at least, the ninja-ness adds a sense of destiny and intentionality to like their development and their purposes, and like helps develop each of them as characters. Where it's like, even from the very beginning, part of the, like, it wasn't just like, oh, we happen to be ninjas. It's no, we're training to be ninjas in order to kill Shredder in order to get revenge for Hamato Yoshi. Where it's like there's some like there's some the ninja-ness is usually the driving force behind everything else, which to me usually helps coalesce everything together. Where it's like not only does ninja-ness give them the focus of like why they're doing the things and how they're doing things, but also gives them more of a opens up the gates like more fantasy stuff or like more like again like Destiny kind of stuff where it's like okay, not only are we dealing with ninja-ness, but also we're going to deal with the mystic ninja-ness, which means we're going to connect to our clan's heritage, or we're going to learn more about these powers that are connected to us, or we're going to like astral project in order to like say talk to Splinter even though he's far away from us, and even though this is weird and doesn't make sense, we already come from existence that's weird, doesn't make sense anyway. We're just going to lean into this even further, and so to me it adds a lot of heart to the narrative that I think coalesces everything together. Not to say that this movie didn't have heart or that it was bad at all. I loved it. It's just more like I like the ninja stuff because it usually opens up the pathway towards more ridiculous bonkers stuff that winds up having a lot of heart behind it.
For me, they're my favorite Ninja Turtles. Favorite Ninja Turtles. I did not like Splinter. Like I think it's a missed opportunity to cast a karate freaking master in a role where he's not playing a karate like master. Like he's not playing a ninja. He's not playing anything. He's playing a dad. A dad, because they call him dad. They don't even call him Master Splinter or anything like that, which I'm fine with for these characters who are still kids and stuff like that. I would have preferred if Splinter was still the pet of a actual ninja, or he was a ninja himself. From human he turned into a rat thing. But I always like the interpretation that he was the rat of what was his name?
Hamato Yoshi.
Hamato Yoshi. I think I always like that interpretation better because it feels like I want to avenge my master's death and a little rat tried to avenge the master.
It's a fun parody of that trope.
Yeah, exactly. It's really
like,
funny.
even though it's like it's a ridiculous way of setting up like the purpose of these turtles and like the destiny, where it's like okay, the bad guy of this franchise, the Shredder, technically it has a hand in their creation, and so their fates are intertwined, and so that's why they're always going like head to head with each other.
I do like the Baxter thing where he's the one that created the mutagen. That was really good. I think it was really good connecting those things. Like he usually turns into the Fly. But I did like this new interpretation. I liked it. The only problem I have is that they turned all the other mutants into like good guys, and now it's gonna be interesting to see if they ever become bad or if they just stay good like for the entirety of this new narrative.
It seems like there's like my best guess would be they're setting up the Mighty Mutanimals, which is like another thing in this franchise where like they are good guy mutants / rivals to the turtles. So and like a lot of the characters that got introduced in this have been canonically part of the Mutanimals before, like Ray Fillet and stuff like that. So it seems like that might be the direction they're going in, but we'll see.
Well, which I'm okay with. Like I'm fine with that. Like I don't have a problem because Shredder's been introduced, and I think once that happens.
So exciting!
It's gonna be cool because I think they understand the Ninja Turtles. I think, I think they understood the Ninja Turtles. I think like all of them are good. Like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are good. It's just everyone else was kind of off to me. Even April, which I don't care if she's black. I just don't care that she's young. Like I don't like young April. Like I like older sister April. Like because that's what she was originally. She was supposed to be like an older sister kind of character, and she was supposed to like kind of give them a little more like she did, kind of like presenting the human world to them. But again, this one kind of runs into that weird like romance aspect.
I'm not a fan of making April a love interest. Yeah, they did that in the 2012 series, and they've done that. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest.
I just don't like it.
I can respect that. And again, I definitely like. Again, I'm uncomfortable with like the animal human like
Yeah.
romance angle, but I think it made sense in terms of the arc of the
It
characters they
makes
wanted
sense.
to,
Yes.
and I think it would have been harder to do the arc as honestly if they didn't do that. So I'm willing to go along with that, and I enjoy the way it's done. I will say this, like again, I hope one thing I will say, is that I love the turtles in this one. They did, because they were trying to emphasize how they're all teenagers. They did de-emphasize the differences between their personalities, and I would like to see in the future. I would like to see some more of that differentiation happen.
Yes.
I would like, and I would also like, again, like now that we've set up, I kind of, in a sense, I like them treating Shredder kind of like the Joker in the Batman movies, where it's like, okay, don't have him in the first one because you really got to establish these people, but like make him like in the second one, like so cool. And like everything is about his world and that side of the world. I would love it. I mean, just hearing you guys talk, I would love it if they, if they like retroactively established that, Master Splinter's like what he had an owner who was a ninja that was involved like with Splinter thing. I would love that I would love it if they, now that they've established that this side of the Turtles, that they built out the ninja side more in the sequel to this, where they have Splinter be the focus like Joker was in The Dark Knight. That would be something really cool for them to do.
That would be pretty funny if they're like, I haven't told you everything you do.
We would accept it in a Turtles movie.
You know what? It actually wouldn't be that bad because like it makes sense to me, because usually a parent has their secrets for the kids. Like it more when it's like big traumatic stuff. Like I mean, my dad,
my first owner was killed by a ninja.
Yeah, exactly. Like I used to be with the humans once, like, but it was a terrible experience.
But yeah, exactly, and I think that's exactly why I'm still giving this interpretation in Turtles the benefit of the doubt, because like you said, each of them as individuals weren't super developed, but I'm willing to believe that like as the new series that got announced gets released, and
that's right, it's gonna be a TV show now too.
Like it's gonna be a series and a movie, so I'm sure like as time goes on, they'll be more developed, and I'm sure I'll grow to like them a lot more, because that was basically like my same reaction to Rise of the TMNT when it first came out. It was like when it first came out, all the Turtles kind of seemed the same to me, so like I didn't really see the point of it. But then once I actually spent more time watching more of that series, they had more time to develop each of them as individuals, and then I saw the differences, and then I became to appreciate them. So I'm totally willing to believe that as this franchise develops, I'll see the differences more in the Turtles.
I hate the puke. I hated the puke so much.
Oh yeah. This is definitely the grossest version of the Turtles, which again, I'm willing to give them credit for, because that's what their focus is on. They're focusing on how weird and gross and odd these Turtles are, which makes total sense.
I don't like gross out humor in general, so that's fair, but I also am kind of like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is, but I liked the fact that they're focusing on the weird, so it's kind of like, how do I?
The puke thing was way too, like,
I agree.
I didn't have to see the puke, and it just kept going, and I was like, I don't like.
I agree.
This is like I've seen puke scenes that are funny. But this was just gross.
This isn't like anime where they like just turn the puke into rainbows and you just like accept those puke.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it was that's the only thing I was like, I did not like that. Oh, another thing that I didn't like was no TMNT theme song. No, they always do different theme songs. Every generation of TMNT
didn't have it during the credits?
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. It was like a rap song, I think, about something else, but like it didn't have a TMNT theme.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity.
I feel like the closest I can think of is like maybe there's a moment when one of their phones were ringing and they had like the old.
No, it was in the when they were fighting their first criminals that stole the bike. The car turns on, and the theme is "Go Ninja, Go Ninja."
Right, I remember that.
And but that was like really short, so I was like, it was strange to me that if they do a sequel, they have to include the theme. They have to make their own theme.
Hopefully, they do that in the show.
Oh, yeah, that would work as well. But yeah, it was strange to me to see a TMNT without their own interpretation of the theme song, because every single iteration has their own interpretation of the theme song. So yeah, that was kind of strange.
But I really love the action in this movie too. The action is great.
Oh, yeah, it was
like
really
the,
good.
Like the ninja action they had was great, and made me wish they had more of it because of what I saw. I really liked like the whole montage when the turtles were like fighting bad guys.
That was incredible.
That was wonderful, and like the scene where Splinter got to be a badass and like fight all those guys while being the turtles. Like that, I was so relieved when I saw that because like going into this, I was worried like, oh man, they made Splinter so old. Is he going to be relevant? Is he going to fight? And then they gave him a great fight scene in the middle of the movie. I'm like, oh yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you for this movie.
And the New Yorkers being like working together. I always love New Yorkers working together in movies. I mean,
Spider-Man all over again.
It makes me cry in Spider-Man. It made me cry here as well.
And they even had that moment back in Superman, technically too. So like it happens.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Hollywood. Hollywood. Artificially, unrealistically raising people's expectations of New Yorkers since 2002.
Tale as old as time. And also, I really do appreciate a Splinter story arc in this, and like, there have definitely been other versions of Splinter where they do like try to develop it more again over time as of course the series goes on. So like, I do like those other versions of Splinter better, but I do like how they're more upfront with Splinter's development in this version, and I feel like there's a good balance between because again, this is like another movie where like it's dealing with intergenerational trauma in a sense, where like the younger generation is trying to make a point against the older generation, while the older generation still has their own point. And like other movies have tried to do this in the past, like say Encanto or Simply Red or Seeing Red, and like they had their hits and Turning Red, my bad, and like they had their hits and misses. But I feel like this one was the most cohesive of like doing a good job of saying no, both sides have a point, but also both sides need to develop, and it felt like both sides did develop in their own ways. And I particularly like Splinter's development, especially that moment when he realized, oh, he's just like Superfly, and like Splinter viscerally reacted against that, being like, no, I don't want to be like you, Superfly. I hate that.
It's very much Mitchell's versus the Machines, like how they handle it.
Yes. Oh, Mitchell's versus the Machines, so good.
So underrated.
I love that movie so much.
So much.
Classic.
Wow. Mom is crazy. Mom is crazy now.
Oh man! Somehow the best movie featuring the Furbies ever.
So good. Yeah.
No, great. Again, it's gonna be in my top 5 of movies of the year. I know this TMNT movies.
Pretty good.